I'm introducing Chris today. Excited to have you, man. It's going to be awesome. Now, before we start, make sure everyone looks up to my right, over my right shoulder. There's the register for EXPCon 220. I did it last night. I am registered. It's pretty easy. So click on that. Make sure you register for our annual convention. There's all kinds of breakouts. Shareholders, I was so nervous we would just crash it. And it was a home run. Set the time apart like you're going to be at a convention center in Orlando, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and just pretend like you're not home. Get some popcorn and then cast it up on your big screen and from your laptop and just get comfy on the couch. You know, usually on those hard chairs for hours and hours and hours, you will be totally comfy, drinking a Diet Coke and having whatever it is you want to eat and drink without lines and spending $40 for a sandwich and a Coke. So it's going to be a great time. So make sure you do that. And then Cabo's going to open up, I'm hoping this week. Check BrentGove.com every day, twice a day. Check it morning and noon and night. We're on the home stretch with the Hyatt Ziva. We just can't release it till we have certain things achieved by the Hyatt, and we're dealing with them, and they're just on manana time. They'll get it done. I thought it'd be done last week. It didn't. So make sure you come to this year's Mastermind in the Tropics. We're gonna have over 1,000 agents and brokers there. By the way, anyone who registers this week, you will be in the Overflow Ballroom. We will simulcast into that ballroom. And we'll make sure that Glenn Sanford shows up, Dave Kennord shows up live in person in that ballroom. Remember, it's only 9 to noon, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if you're in the ballrooms, you know you look at the big screens anyway. So it'll be awesome. So don't miss it. By the way, the first 130 of you that do get those tickets, they accommodate you at the Hyatt Ziva. There's about 330 that will have to stay next door. We could accommodate about 170 additional people at the Hyatt Ziva, is my understanding. And then roughly 330 will have to stay next door. Okay, so a little stuff there. So Christopher Okamura, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good. You started these text threads with your Hawaiian team and your stateside team and different teams, and I'm watching those text thread strands blow up. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what you're doing? How big is your group now? What do you got, like 300-400?
525.
Woo! Over the half of the millennial mark, you know. So you broke 500. Now you're headed to 1,000, man. That is so exciting, man. You'll get there too.
Yes.
All right. So tell everyone what you're doing with these text threads where you get your leaders, like 4, 5, 6, 7 leaders. I think another text thread, you have 11 of them on there, different legs. And then everybody communicates on the thread. And I'm on each thread and I'm watching all the exciting, hey, I sponsored somebody. I got this group. I got this top agent. It's pretty cool. Why don't you tell them what you're doing?
Well, I'll start off with this, and I'll say that as everybody knows that success leaves clues. And Brent, you definitely have paved the path for all of us. And I'm literally just taking a chapter out of your book. Like the success is modeling. So you've done tremendously well, and your group has exploded like 2 or 3 times over because you did one thing and you really, really plugged into we call them the generals here, right? Or the builders. Those are really influencers. And that was one of the things you focus on. I remember sitting in your vault and you have all the names on the walls and you were completely focused in on those people. So I am going to make that my path in 2021, where it is ideally going to take and kind of branch off, kind of take the training wheels off, if you want to say, and duplicate what you've done. It's been successful. It's worked. So why not? So now at this point, I'm going to be doing the same things, these masterminds. I'm plugging in. I'm identifying all of my leaders, the builders, the influencers, and they're all on the text threads. Where, you know, I have the ones out there in the Hawaiian Islands, I have the ones here on the mainland, I have them different East Coast, and I'm just focused on them, kind of plugging on them, letting them know that I'm here for them, and that each one of us can be there as a source to kind of raise our hand for anybody on that thread that needs help, that maybe wants to have a conversation with somebody, needs a second voice, and that's all about it. So they know that we're there for them, and you're on those threads as well, like you said, Brent. So you're always chiming into and helping out any way you can, but one of the things that's the most important is that these people, these builders, these influencers are seeing that we are together, kind of come the glued and pull them all together, and that we're there to help. So it's encouraging to them, and they're pumped up, they're excited. So yeah, that's kind of what my focus on those threads are for, is literally just to stay in touch with everybody in those groups, those influencers, and then they can actually add people to that text thread. If they have maybe one or two influencers in their line that they may know of that I don't, and that they're really, really like interested in the agent attraction piece, then I can throw them in there as well. And then they can actually ask questions and help out. And if they need a second voice of some sort, they can chime in there too. So that's what it's for. And it's working successfully right now. Everybody's engaged and super pumped.
Absolutely. So how do you guys apply this? Well, I see Brent Shields in the front row, and Greg Town and Sam Holman and Nate Jones from Austin, and Frank Crandall, of course, Vincent St. Louis. I'm seeing you guys out in the audience. And so here's what you do. You take Sam Holman, for example. Sam, you start a thread with your sponsor, then your sponsor, then your sponsor, and you create that thread, and you want to go up about 4, 5, 6, 7 levels above you because everybody benefits from you. And if you're kicking butt and taking names, trust me, if you had someone at your level 4, 5, 6 that's on fire, or even 7, you'd want to know, and it motivates the whole line. So instead of sitting there going, well, I'm not a part of one of these threads, create one. Chris created them and put me on it. I created them and put other people on it. Obviously, we can't. But by the way, last Friday, we broke 9,000 agents in our 7 levels, me and James, and we're pretty stoked about that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think we are at 9,021 right now, so that's a nice mark to break. And in the organization, I think we have 15, maybe 16,000 in the overall organization, but only 9,000 for us in our 7 levels. Pretty exciting. But so here's what I recommend. So like Sam, find out, like if you're those of you out in the audience, and I'm going to walk out here a little bit just to try to, if I can drive my avatar and not fall off. So we got Gordon over here, Miller from Vermont, and there's Robin over there. Hey, Robin, what's up? Who do we got here? Russ Calillo standing there. Awesome, Russ. And then we got George and John Van Daly. So I'm walking through the audience here a little bit. Here's James Nesh, if I said that right, James, or I'm not sure how I spell everyone's names. I got Amanda here. And then over here we got, who do we got here? We got Matthew. You guys should, I'm going to give everybody in the audience a homework assignment. Here's your homework assignment. You got to know who your sponsor is, obviously you all know your sponsor, but who sponsored your sponsor? You'd be surprised how many times that people have no idea who their sponsor is, or their sponsor. You need to know every single person going up 7 levels because they benefit from you. And you need to reach out. And so when you have a question, don't ask me, ask that text thread. Hey, who knows who to talk to about sponsoring someone in India? And then when I answer, everybody learns on the thread. And they go, oh my gosh, Sam Holman has someone in India? How exciting. Yeah, we have this residential guy in wherever, Jakarta, and he's got 70 agents, and he's really serious about leading EXP in India. What excites everybody? Don't keep that just to me and you. So if you just sponsored somebody, I just sponsored somebody, brand new agent in Las Vegas, a superstar agent in Reno. I'm working on a whole group of agents in Ontario or Ottawa, Canada. And say them the thread. Quit doing these onesie, twosie text threads. And it becomes the good news channel, because trust me, everybody needs a little bump in their day. So that is a very smart thing to do. Like take Frank Crandall over here. He should start one with Elgin Walker. Elgin, did I say Frank? Is Elgin's last name is it Elgin? Am I saying that right? Yeah, I got it right. I don't know why I panicked. So Elgin has legs outside of Nate. Nate, and I'm not talking Nate Jones here. Hi, Nate Jones. But I'm talking about Nate Butcher and other legs. And so get those going, get those flowing, put those people together, Frank. You build it so that it's not just you helping them, but it's you and me. We can even put Sheila on there and get help. Vincent, unmute yourself. You and I have one with Bill Campbell, Barton, you and me, the 4 of us, right, Vincent?
Correct.
And how many times have you heard about South Africa?
All the time, thankfully. It's a blessing. It's awesome.
And does it bum you out or excite you when you hear about what's happening in South Africa that Bill Campbell's doing?
Fired me up.
because Bill's in your group 2 or 3 down from you, and he's taken over South Africa. Now, if Bill was talking to me that whole time, I would be fired up, and Barton and Vincent would have a clue what's happening. So start these text thread strands and do it. Frank, are you a part of any of these text thread friends, and do you find them encouraging, Frank Crandall?
No, this is the first I've heard of it.
Okay. Well, who the heck is your sponsor, man? Talk to your sponsor. Get that guy off the ball.
Yeah, I got to light a fire underneath him.
For those of you that don't know, I'm Frank's sponsor. Anyways, I'm going to move down the line over here. So you guys understand and just, I've talked about this before, but I don't always talk about it, and there's lots to talk about. So just start those threads, get people involved. If you read something in a book, share a highlight from an excerpt of, rocket fuel or, building an empire or the one thing or something really cool that you read, the system, different books you can read. Or you could share, hey, can anyone talk to this awesome agent? Like out there, I have an agent I'm sponsoring in Arlington, Texas, just outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth, but she's brand new. Awesome woman with her husband, Chris. They just moved there having a baby in April, but she's so excited, super personable, but she needs someone to teach her real estate. So I'm her sponsor, but I'm looking to put her on a team. So if anybody out there knows somebody who's good in the Arlington, Texas area, which is a suburb of DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth, outside of the Dallas area. Dallas is huge, so you got to kind of specifically be near that. And I know Russ is a Texas boy because he's been out there. But if anyone has any ideas, I could use that. But you say this stuff on the text thread, it's good. So back to Chris. So Chris, you didn't get 500 agents overnight. You chipped away. So what did you do to sponsor? I think you've sponsored somewhere between 20 to 30 different agents and broker associates in EXP, right, Chris?
Correct. Yeah. 30. I think 32 now.
32, but who's counting, right? That is awesome. That is awesome. The most important thing you could do, Chris, and everybody else in the audience, is go sponsor 32 more, but do it in 6 months. Now you're cooking with gas. Now you're like those crazy guys throwing gas on the bonfire at the beach. That's how you do it. And so what got you there was sponsoring 32. What's going to get you, Chris, to 5,000 from 500 is sponsoring 32 more. I've just sponsored, I have 4 I'm signing up this week. And you know why? It's because I just work at it. I don't really work at it, but I do. I kind of follow up, check in, this, that. I got a really big player who hates EXP. It's a friend of mine. Has about, I'm going to say somewhere between 300 and 500 agents. I don't want to say where or what, but I'm going to call him today and invite him to come to our mastermind in the tropics. I go, look, I know you hate EXP because it scares him because he loses his agents to EXP, but he hates it. And I'm going to say, look, I'm going to pay for you to go to Cabo, oceanfront suite. Come have a vacation. There'll be 1,000 agents there. Nobody will know you're not with EXP. They'll just assume you're with EXP, and you can be a fly on the wall and kind of watch what's going on. You do have to attend the 9 to noon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I'm going to foot the bill. You get your own airline ticket, but I'll pay for an oceanfront suite at the Hyatt. Now, he may say no, he may not go, but there's an example. I'm going to invite him. And I'm, I don't do it all the time. I haven't invited him anywhere like that in about a year and a half, but it's time. And I just kind of, I like to say poke him with the stick, but I kind of poke him with the stick. I kind of, touch him, invite him, a text, and I'm real cool about it. I talked to him yesterday, and he was rebuilding the brakes on his Jeep. He's a 4-wheel drive guy, and we talked all about that. I didn't even bring up EXP. I was just his friend. So Chris, what did you do? What was your number one way of sponsoring these 32 people? Did you do a ClickFunnels? Did you have a podcast? Were you a real estate coach? Did you just call people old school like your sponsor? Me, I'm Chris's sponsor for those of you that don't know. How did you sponsor these 32 people? What was the method to your madness?
Well, I don't think there really is one method to the madness. Kind of like our real estate business, it kind of goes across the way, right? There's so many ways to do it. Just find one that works for you. And honestly, now I'm even finding that out here 3.5 years later, that in this process, it is a constant game. We got to do it for a while. There is no stopping. It's constantly going, as you said. So I just found something that works for me now. And to be completely transparent, yeah, I've found a lot of times. So for those out there who are feeling like you get to a point where you get kind of a little complacent and kind of lazy a little bit, we all do it. I had it happen to me too. And you watch things kind of trickle backwards, right?
Right.
So now I'm back into the system where I find it, and I always kind of compare it to diets, right? There's hundreds of diets out there, but you got to find one that you really, really like, that really works for you, that you're willing to really do. And then once you enjoy doing it, you'll do it all the time. So I found something recently here in the last, I'd say 3 months, 3 or 4 months, where I've engaged in an opportunity where somebody's working something for me, and they're creating some systems around I'm using LinkedIn. So I use LinkedIn now primarily because it is the platform designed for business. And so, but I found a system that works for me, and it's working amazing. So I've engaged in literally almost over 300 conversations in the last 3 months, and it's ongoing. So now it's just this whole, slow and steady wins the race. I do it every day. I find a system that works for me, and I'm committed to it. So now it's working for me remarkably, and that's the one I'm at now, where I'm using the LinkedIn. I don't want to go too much into it. It's a lot to kind of go into, but if you want to know about it later on, feel free to message me, and I'll kind of show you what I'm doing. The LinkedIn thing, it's working for me. It's a whole CRM. It's a follow-up. It is in the follow-up. It always been the follow-up. The follow-up is key, and that's where I was actually lacking a lot of my area was in the follow-up. So now I've got something that's got me committed, and I'm accountable to it, and it works. So I'm all about the follow-up, and it's working for me. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and it's actually kicking in and working.
Did you hire a coach too?
Mm-hmm. I did. I hired a coach. I had somebody, actually even an accountability group. We got an accountability group that we go to. We kind of hold each other accountable to it. But yes, the coach, somebody who's helping me on the social media, on the technology side, to help me go, and he's kind of working with me, and he's amazing. So it's working though. But you got to invest in it though too, right? You got to invest.
Yeah.
You got to spend money to make money, and this is how it is. I've committed though. Now that I've spent money, I'm more committed to it because I have more skin in the game at this point, where I wasn't before. So,
I love it.
Kind of where it's working.
I love it. If you pay if you pay for it, you pay attention. I always like to say that if it's free, like, oh yeah, that wasn't that good. It reminds me of karaoke. You can go and watch someone do karaoke, and you're like, oh man, she's terrible, he's terrible. Why don't you go try it? I used to be snarky about people in karaoke. Oh, they're not very good. All this, and then I did karaoke, and that was 35 years ago. I'm permanently scarred from the experience. I found out that I am not only not very good, I'm horrible. I can't sing. And now I admire everybody who gets up there and does karaoke, because you got to be brave. It's not easy, and I'm far less judgmental. And so why am I telling you that story? Because there was a reason. Chris, help me tie that back in. There was a reason on the karaoke.
Well, I mean, it's being uncomfortable. Reality is nobody likes to do things that are uncomfortable. When they're uncomfortable, people try to shy away from it. But you're uncomfortable with singing. The reality is karaoke was designed for everybody just to go out and have fun, right? So they just do it just for pure nature and have a good time.
Yes.
So I would look at this the same way. Find this something that you enjoy doing, because if you don't enjoy doing it, you won't do it. It's proven to me that. I've been a Keller Williams team leader for 3.5 years in my career, and I had to do it every day. I didn't enjoy it per se, but now I really enjoy this. And so I found a system that I can attach myself to, that I'm willing to commit to, which was the biggest game changer. I'm willing to commit to it now, where I wasn't before. So yeah, it's being outside your comfort zone and doing things that you really aren't maybe good at. And, or plugging into people like Brent and myself. We are good at it. Leverage us, use us.
And make it a game. Okay, if I call 10 people today, or 5 people today, or if I call 3 people today, I'm going to go to the movies tonight. Or maybe you'd love to go to sushi. I'm going to reward myself with sushi at lunch if I make these 3 calls, or I get these 5 people off my chicken list by Friday. I'm going to go fishing Saturday morning. I'm going to drive up into the Sierras, and I'm going to go fishing, because I'll little rewards. It doesn't have to be I'm going to buy a boat. I'm going to buy a Rolex watch. It doesn't have to be something huge. Now, it can be, hey, when I sponsor 40 people in the next 6 months, I'm going to go buy a brand new car. I'm not sure what car, but I recommend you go test drive cars today, get the brochure, and then keep that in front of you. And in 4 months, when you do sponsor your 40, you can go get that car. So, I see people writing Porsche and all that. Let's see if we could, if anybody has any questions in the chat. Let me see. I don't know. I'm trying to read through the chat. Do you add each agent you bring on the thread? Good question from Joseph from Sacramento. Hey, Joseph. No, the thread is for the core group of leaders. Now, if it was me, I would add every agent I have to a thread. I'd have about 10, 15, 20 different threads going. I have so many of them. Obviously, poor Frank Crandall is not on one. Sorry, Frank. But I disagree. I think Frank's on some threads. But people, you got to teach people to use it. Well, like, let's say I find someone under Elgin Walker, under Frank Crandall. I say, look, I'll work with you, and I've done this. But if you have a question, you have to text me on the thread. If you have good news, text it on the thread. If you have something that inspired you, state it on the thread, and then I'll interact with you. And if I'm busy, Elgin will respond. If Elgin's busy, Frank Crandall will respond. But it creates a momentum, and it's a really, really powerful thing. I started it about 3 years ago with Cliff Freeman, and today Cliff has over 4,000 people in his 7 levels. We have 9,000. Cliff is almost half, and he was the first one we started the thread with. And I believe there are 9 people on that thread, and that thread's been going for 3 years. And when someone has a question about Mexico, or they have a question about RevShare, or they saw that the stock went up and they're the first ones to post it, or they saw something cool about Verbella, or they're asking about India. Where did India come into the race? Nobody was talking about India, and why India? And then we explain why. Or someone has a question about a referral for Seattle, or blah, blah, blah. And so they really work. So I've been starting these threads up, and now sometimes people don't use them. And when they do go direct to me, I go, no, you got to do it on the thread. They go, oh yeah, I forgot. Because it's really engaging. Like this morning, Chris, we saw a guy, was that Ross that was posting that on the thread? Was that Ross or somebody different?
It was Ross. Yeah.
And what did Ross say today on the thread?
He jumped out like, I brought another one on. He's on one agent at a time. And it was kind of funny. Everybody got to get excited, right? It creates a bunch of energy in there, and everybody starts chiming in. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. It creates a whole nother level of energy, man. They get pumped, and they want to go out and talk to people.
So here it is. I got the actual text. It was at 10:39 a.m., and there's 7 people on this particular thread. It's Ross Graham. He goes, bam, landed another one today, coming over from Carpenter Realtors. Then Lona and Doug, who sponsored Ross, loved, bam, landed another one. They just hit the little love symbol, killing it, way to go, fire, handshake. And then Ross goes, one agent at a time. And then Doug chimed in and said something. And then he said, eat that elephant. So one bite at a time, one agent at a time. I go rock and roll. That was my contribution. Chris jumps in and he goes, that's what I'm talking about. Slow and steady wins the race. And then Ross said, she said 50% of her commission gets taken by Carpenter Real Estate, and she has to pay a 4% franchise fee on top of that. And so she loves it. They just start chiming in. They've been chiming in while we're talking. Anyways, this is pretty exciting stuff. So that's how you use a thread. They're very powerful. Other questions from the group. Chris, are you reading the chat here? I don't have my glasses on.
Yeah, I am. For those who want, I can go a little more detail. But those who want to know asking about what CRM you use, I'm not using the KV Core CRM. That's the real estate side I use strictly for the real estate side. My recruiting side, I use a different one with this guy that's got me hooked up on LinkedIn. It is Pipedrive. But if you guys want to go for those, I put my phone number on there, the 916-838-5490. If you want, text me, call me. I can show you guys what I'm doing. And if it's something that works for you, it works for you. And if it doesn't, that's great too. But I definitely can share with you what I'm doing.
I love it. Thank you, Chris. So Chris put his phone number there in the chat, 916. Chris put his phone number right there, 838-5490. And Sam Holman asked a great question. What happens when somebody above you leaves? Does everyone move up a slot? No, everybody stays exactly where they are. That person's just gone. Nothing changes. Your sponsor's quit. I wish I could tell you, like, I go to church. I've been at my church for 23 years. People come, people go. I was at Remax for 12 years. People come, people go. I was at Keller Williams for 8 years. People come, people go. There's not an organization on the planet where people come and never leave. except for the eternal one. Anyway, sorry, off topic, as you said, Sam. But but basically, they're, a living, breathing thing. It flows. You hold your hands open. You don't hold people by the neck. You love them, and if you're adding value and you're loving them, they're going to stay. And sometimes people find an opportunity they just believe in, and they go another route, and that does happen. I wish I could tell you every agent and every broker that ever joined EXP will stay forever. It's just not going to be the case. It will never be the case. But Sam, great question. There is that's called compression. Nobody moves up a slide. Everyone stays right where they are, and that person's just gone. And that's how that works. So good stuff. Other questions? Anybody else in the audience have a question about something Chris said or something I said? Or Chris, do you want to make a comment?
Hey, Brent.
Okay.
You're welcome. Who's that?
This is Rebecca Ness, and I'm driving to a closing, so I can't see the chats. Could somebody copy it and send to me today, please?
Rob, how do you copy a chat? I don't even know how to do that.
I'll
Right
take
click.
care of it. I'm Holly Satterfield. Rebecca, what's your email address?
Tyler, Texas, baby.
Rebecca.mcginnis@exprealty.com will work. And thank you so much, Holly.
You're welcome.
In workplace chat, you could find anyone. Every one of you could send a message to Glenn Sanford today. Please don't. But you can, if you want to say, Glenn, I appreciate you. I love you. I'm grateful. Trust me, none of us, I never get tired of that. It's always nice to be thanked and all that. So you could send Glenn a message. He will get it. Jason Gessing, our CEO. Dave Kennord, our president. Stacy Onen, our president. Don't be afraid to use workplace chat. It rocks. You can reach anybody at this company, including Rebecca McGinnis. You just look and type in Rebecca and you'll see her pop up, McGinnis, and that was Holly from Tyler, Texas. Right on, Holly. And Rob was also going to take a shot at right-clicking this thing and copying the chat. Chris, we're up against the break here. We're off tomorrow for Phoenix for a few days for golf and the EXP Sprint. Any final thoughts or words of encouragement, Chris, to everybody?
Just, you know what, this is one of those things that I think a lot of times people get a little bit overwhelmed with it because they see the potential and opportunity here, obviously, that EXP provides by creating an organization and a group. Yet it is something that does take a little time. It doesn't happen overnight. Just want people to understand that. So this is one of those things, just like your real estate business, buyers and sellers, we start off with nothing and you had to groom and build this thing, kind of get the train out of the station. So it's no different. But like Brent says, we're all here to help you. This is one of the different things you're going to find unique about this model is that we are all truly here to help you guys. Like I said, my phone number is there. A lot of you guys aren't even in my organization, but I don't really care. I mean, I'm here to help just like Brent. I'll help all of us.
Yep.
The reality is this company is one, ties rise all ships, which is exciting. So absolutely, get on the phone with me if you want. I'll help you and share some ideas. Somebody messaged me, was that Michael, on some of the tips. Give me a call. We'll have a conversation. There's a lot to kind of go over. It's a kind of a really in-depth question there, but definitely. So just stay on task and, don't commit to a process, not the outcome. If you can do that and just continually add this to a daily routine, one that you're going to stick to, I promise you it's going to work out.
Yep.
It's the ones that you try to reach for the stars and, I want it all tomorrow. And then it doesn't happen and you get discouraged and overwhelmed. You just got to find something that you're willing to do and do it on a daily basis and make it sustainable. It really is. So that's it. Just keep going and use us.
I love it. I love it. By the way, if you meet somebody in EXP that joined EXP 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, a year ago, and they're just killing it, reach out to them on workplace chat. Ask if you can call them on the phone. Get them on the phone. By the way, texting people, in my opinion, I text clients. I text people all the time. Agents, text. It's hard to annoy text. If they do ignore you, text them again. They just got busy. Text. It's my secret weapon for reaching everybody. Workplace chat is amazing for reaching employees at EXP. But just utilize that. Dang it, I lost my train of thought. I was going to go somewhere with that. Chris is putting his phone number there.
Sorry.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. When you meet somebody who's been in EXP for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and they're just on fire, they got 100, 200, 300 people in their group already. Talk to them and go, can I fly to North Carolina and just spend the day with you? can I fly out to Lawton, Oklahoma? Because that's what I did. 15 years ago, I got on a plane, flew to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and then I hitched a ride with a rancher for 2 hours out to Lawton, a military town of 100,000 people, where Jay Kender was selling 600 homes a year. 600, number one Coldwell Banker agent in the world from the hick town of Lawton, Oklahoma, selling $150,000 properties. Luxury market was 200,000 to 300,000 in Lawton, and I watched him and copied what I felt I could copy, and ended up spending over $1 million on the radio because Jay's the one who got me on the radio. But I got my butt on a plane. So I'm saying get your butt on a plane and go down and meet Pete in Middleton in La Jolla. He's been here for a year. He's got 300 people. Maybe you should. Well, would he let me do that? I don't know. Why don't you ask? And so I lovingly say, freaking be bold. Ask. Don't be obnoxious. Don't be needy. But go, hey, if I flew out, could I just hang out with you for 4 or 5 hours and see what you do? And I'm telling you, it's money. And that's what I did. I flew to places. I went to events. I hired coaches. Some were great. Some were not so great. I spent an entire year in MAPS coaching and only got one thing. One thing I learned was worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to me. And other than that, it was a one moment in 12 months. And it was all good. It was solid. It wasn't bad. But come on, baby. Anyways, I will see everybody in Cabo in February. Wild horses couldn't keep me away. If I was in your shoes, find a way to get there. And then bring people with you. Bring people with you. Bring guests with you. Bring people. And Sam, I'm glad you got your ticket, but dang it, you need to bring 20 or 30 people with you. And that's awesome. I'm not getting on you. I'm proud of you. And I'm talking to everybody here. You got a lot of time between now and February. Well, it's sold out. Well, maybe they could stay at the hotel next door. How about that? Get rooms at the hotel next door. And then let them hang out at the beach and the pool and go out to dinner at night. The event itself is 9 to noon, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. That's it. So if they can't get in, they can't get in. Hey, have breakfast with them. Have Gene Frederick meet you for breakfast. Introduce them to your guest. And then we'll get day passes, right, Stroop? Are we working on day passes? Yep. Working on day passes. You get a day pass to the Holiday Hyatt for the day for like, what, $35? $50? Ooh. Howie, $150 a day. But it includes all their food, all their meals, all their adult beverages, use of the pool, the beach, everything for $150. So maybe they come over for 2 or 3 days, $450. So what? To get around Dave Kennord, to get our president, to get around Jason Gessing, to get around the other leaders in this company. Well worth it. So anyways, you guys are awesome. And we will catch you later. Chris, thank you for being on today.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. I always love coming on here and sharing some stuff with everybody. And I encourage everybody to go out there and just conquer it.
And dude, I'm going to have you back on at 1,000. And one day we will stand here. You'll have 5,000 people in your organization. We will talk about you. Remember when you had 500 and you were wearing shorts and a cowboy hat and sandals? And now you are, hey, do you have a, turn towards me. What is that on your chest? What, turn towards me. So you registered for EXPCon.
Oh, yeah.
Do I have one on my chest? Because I can only see the back of my head.
No? I don't see anything in yours.
I registered. I did register last night. I heard it takes a day or two for the button to pop up. But I did register. So when you register, like Sam Holman's wearing one. Dan, you don't have one, Dan Hillman. I'm calling you out, Big Dan. Nate.
Sorry about that.
No. It's okay. Frank Crandall, you don't have yours either. Neither do you, Michael. I registered. It's not on. I don't know why it's on. I heard it takes a day or two for them to get the button on your body sometimes. But register. Rick, I see in the back there, Rick, from North Carolina, or I can't read, or Greater Charlotte. Rick, no button on you. Come to EXP's annual. It's free. The price is right. No flights, no hotel rooms, no eating out 3 times a day. It's going to be great. Bye, everybody. Great to have you on. Chris, thanks for having you on.
Thanks, Chris.
See you later, guys.
We'll catch you guys later.
Thank you.
All right. Adios, muchachos.